If you're a longtime viewer of my channel, you might remember a bit back I streamed a game called Pokémon Emerald Rogue. And after I beat the game once or twice and unlocked everything in it, I kinda put it off and never really returned to it. But recently they released version 2.0 that introduced a lot into the game, like new Pokémon, new features, and overall just a complete overhaul of the systems they had before. So I figured what a better time to dive back into it, and this is the story of my first run. Well, kinda. We start off like any other Pokemon game. We wake up with amnesia and my special defense is through the roof. We make our character, choose our colors, and name ourselves, and then we run to the professor's lab where I expect to get my starter Pokemon, but I'm wrong. He tells us first we have to walk around and take a look around everything. So I explore and find some cool stuff like the gates for the adventures, town square, and a safari zone. After we explore the 3 little blocks we have of a town, we go back to the lab and talk about going on an adventure before we are rudely interrupted by the guy that runs the safari zone. He bursts through the door and says that Pokemon are escaping from the safari zone and he needs the professor's help. So we all set off to the safari zone where the professor gives us a ball to catch our first Pokemon. I check out the options and it's Bonsly, Pansear, and Phantom. I grab the Phantom and name them Fandumpy. Now all that's left is to set off on an actual adventure. As we go to leave, we get directed over to the quest board. And as anyone else would, we grab every available quest and set off on an adventure. We start off in the first area and I catch literally everything I can, that way I can unlock them all as starter options in the future. And we even come across a shiny that I forgot to add to the team, but after getting lost around the ice puzzles of the first area, we move on with a full team of 6, and we're feeling pretty confident. As we make our way towards the first gym, we find some new Pokemon and make our team even better, leaving the second area with a team of Phantom, Sandshrew, Hippopotas, Salandit, Frigibax, and Relicanth. We swing by the rest stop on our way to the first gym where we honestly don't do much. In fact, the only thing I buy here are Pokeballs. Well, buy is kind of a weird term because I didn't realize it, but I was pre-ordering them, and I was gonna get them next time I saw the delivery guy. And spoiler alert, I never saw him again. After I got scammed out of my hard-earned money, I come up to the first gym leader, and it's Crest, the Soggy brother from Gen 5, and he leads with a Dondozo. I thought I would be fine because I led Phantom, but I soon realized I was doing like nothing damage-wise. And at that point, my plan swapped. I set up a Leech Seed with Phantom, and then swapped to Hippopotas to get the sand up, and put it to sleep with a yawn before swapping out to Frigibax in fear of losing Hippopotas. One Dragon Breath, as well as some chip from everything else, takes down Dondozo. Crest then threw out Tortuga. I didn't think about the fact that Frigibax was an ice type, so I left him in to go for another Dragon Breath, but I died to a Smackdown before I could even touch it. But that lets me get Phantom out to take it out with a Branch Poke, and now we're down to his last Pokemon, Quillfish. We have to swap Phantom out because of the damage we took earlier, but we bring in Relicanth and put it to sleep and then finish it with a few Ancient Powers. First gym is now taken care of with a sad loss of our Frigibax, but we don't let that stop us and we go on to the next route and add a Tatsugiri to the team. And honestly, it's a welcome addition to the team, because Tatsugiri being here gives us another special attacker with a great typing of Water Dragon. As I go to leave the route, we notice our first rival battle of the run, something I'm pretty sure they added in this update, and honestly, it's a cool touch. It definitely helps with the gym run kind of feel to it. We ran into our rival headfirst with Hippopotas in our lead for some early chip, and he led with Linoon. We put it to sleep and hit it with a Sand Tomb before swapping into Relicanth to go for some Ancient Power boosts, and we kill it with the third Ancient Power without getting a single boost. He then sent in an Esper and set up a substitute as I tried to yawn it. I break the substitute with an Ancient Power, but not before it hits me back with a Thunderbolt that does over half. Predicting another Thunderbolt, I swap into Hippopotas, and I was right. We got a free swap in and hit it with Bite. It hit us back with a Psychic, and it did over half, not to mention it then healed itself with a Citrus Berry. We swap into Sandshrew to resist the Psychic, but then we get hit with Hidden Power, taking out our Sandshrew, and with how much it did, I can only assume it's either Fire or Fighting type. Really unfortunate for us. Either way though, now that we have a clean swap, we send in Tatsugiri, which is able to finish it off with a Water Gun, proving its place on the team. Now we just have his last Pokemon, a Growlithe, that Tatsugiri is also able to just one-shot with a Water Gun. With a new team member and a dead team member, we march forward to a game show. Basically, you play a minigame and get a reward. The first time we got Who's That Pokemon, and I got all of them right, ending us with the best reward he was offering, 3 copies of Solar Beam, with only one more stop before the gym. We go to the Battle Prep rest stop where we buy a Miracle Seed for our Phantom and also teach him Shadow Claw, giving him a better stab move. We lead our next gym with Hippopotas again against the Electric Gym leader, Elisa. I was feeling pretty confident until she led with Chinchou, putting us at a disadvantage right from the start. Swapping into Phantom right away as I get hit with a Confuse Ray, and we hit back with a Branched Poke, doing decent damage. Predicting an electric move, I swap into Hippopotas, mainly because they used Charge last turn. And I was right, it used Spark, but I made an even riskier play to swap into Salandit, knowing I would be fast. faster. I finish it off with a scratch before she sent in Pawmot, and it used dig. I swap into Hippopotas and go for a yawn, but it fails because it outspeeds me and goes for the dig again. I use the turn it's supposed to sleep to swap in Phantump, expecting it to use a fighting move. That way I could take care of it for free, but I was wrong because it actually went for an Ice Punch, taking out our starter. We send back in Hippopotas now that it's asleep and easily take care of it. She then sends out her last Pokemon, Stunfisk, and we put it to sleep using Yawn again, swap into Tatsugiri, and finish it out with 2 water pulses. A pretty easy gym, but a sad loss of our starter. Coming up, I knew I needed some new team members, so I went to the one route that said it was a hard route, hoping it meant I could get some better Pokemon to fill up my team. And I was greeted with a Carbink and a Litleo. Not bad, but definitely not the Pokemon I would have liked. Either way, I grabbed both of them, get our team to level cap, and even evolve Litleo, Hippopotas, and Salandit, making our team a bit better. The next encounter I went to was a Pokemon catching competition, and I'm pretty sure this is also new. I was told I had to catch the fastest Pokemon to show up and I would get a prize, but I got too greedy and tried to look up some speed stats of the Pokemon and actually ended up catching nothing. And turns out, you get nothing if you catch nothing. Who would have guessed, right? We go into the Mart Rest Stop on our way to the next gym and pretty much sell everything we have. We got a few things I thought would be helpful, like Pokeballs and a TM for Freeze Dry that Tatsugiri can't even use. We run headfirst into the next gym with our Pyroar, mainly because I couldn't care less about it, and if it died, I would not be sad. And I was greeted by Marlin, another Gen 5 gym leader with, you guessed it, water types. Pyroar goes down and is able to do about half. At this point, I realized the whole team is kinda bad against water. I put that thought to the back of my head and sent in Tatsugiri to finish off the turtle. He sends in Pampor and I eat an Acrobatics from it before sending in Carbink to set up a Light Screen and Rock Polish. And right there, I'm thinking Carbink can do it and we're ready to put in some work. We miss our first 2 Rock Slides. Then we hit 1 Rock Slide, but it's too little too late because our Light Screen goes down. And I have to decide of setting up a new one or trying to go for some last minute damage. I decide to set up the Light Screen and end up losing Carbink in the process. Going into Relicanth, I hit it with a few Ancient Powers to finish it off, and Marlin sends out Basculin. We put it to sleep and knock it out with a few back and forth hits, leaving him with his last Pokemon Mantike. And of course, we already used all of our Ancient Powers. Either way, it uses Tailwind as we use Yawn, and before it falls asleep, it takes out our Relicanth with a crit Scald. At least being asleep means it's safe to bring out Hippopotas, and we finish it off with 2 crunches. A 3rd gym and a 5th casualty. At this point, I take a break because I think I had to go to work or something along those lines. But the following day, I pick up the game ready to finish the run. Starting this segment with only 3 Pokemon, we go down the gloomy route, hoping we can pick up a few party members to round us out. And we pick up a Girder, a Dino, and a Galarian Linoon. We level everybody up to level cap, and Linoon actually evolves into Obstagoon. At this point, I'm noticing we have one hell of a fairy weakness, and in all honesty, that scares me a little bit. Either way though, we continue our journey onto a game show, where I have to guess Pokemon cries, and well, I kinda bomb this one and walk away with nothing. Now that I'm sad, I move on to the Battle Prep Rest Stop, where I'm able to get a link cable to evolve our Girder into a Conkeldurr. We also teach it a few new moves like Drain Punch and Mach Punch, making it so that he can handle just about anything. Now that we're fully set up to go to the next gym leader, we come across Clay, the ground type gym leader from Gen 5, and he leads with a Stunfisk as I lead with Conkeldurr. He sets up an electric terrain and uses Discharge as I set up a Bulk Up and Drain Punch to get my health back. The next Pokemon he throws out is Golurk, and the only move I can hit him with is Rock Slide. So he goes for Iron Defense, making it so that I have to pivot into Tatsugiri, taking it out with a Muddy Water. The next one he sends out is Flygon, and in my mind, I'm thinking my little fish should be faster than it, so I should do decent damage with Muddy Water. But sometimes things don't always work out how you want them to, and I get outsped and lose Tatsugiri to an Earthquake. We send in Conkeldurr and Drain Punch as it uses Dragon Dance. Lucky for us, we do just enough to be able to kill with Mach Punch the turn after, and he sends in a Galarian Stunfisk. I guess bro just loves Stunfisk. But because we know he can't really touch us, we go for a Bulk Up as he sets up a Stealth Rock, and we Drain Punch for an easy kill before he sends out his last Pokemon, a Diggersby that dies to a single Mach Punch. With Gym 4 taken out and another death on the squad, I was feeling pretty good, but pretty sad at the same time. When we got out of the gym battle and I got back to the paths, I noticed a few things. The one route not only had a game show, but also had a legendary encounter. And I think a legendary as our 6th Pokemon is just what we need at this point. So of course we go to the route that leads there, pick up a Venomoth, thinking I can use it to put the legendary to sleep and make it an easier catch. And then going into the game show, we get another Guess That Cry and lose on round 1 again, walking away with nothing. But more importantly than that, As we go to leave, we see our rival blocking the door. He leads with his Linoon as I lead with my Conkeldurr, and I set up a bulk up as he belly drums, and then heals with a Figgy Berry, confusing it. I go for a Mach Punch, and he moves first, meaning he went for extreme speed. But lucky enough for me, he hits himself in confusion, and we take it out. The next Pokemon he brings out is his Meowstic. It goes for a Psychic, and because of our Papaya Berry... It goes for a Psychic, and because of our Payapa Berry, is that how you say that? The Psychic Berry. It only does a little over half, and we're able to take it out with a single Stone Edge. He sends out his Haxorus, and I'm thinking with my +1 defense, there's a chance I eat a hit from it and heal back with Drain Punch, but he outspeeds and kills me with an Outrage. Another misplay by me, and honestly, a big one this time. We send in Venomoth and go for a Sleep Powder before Quiver Dancing and hitting it with 2 Bug Buzzes to secure the kill. Then he sends in his Arcanine. We hit it with a Sleep Powder and try to set up a Quiver Dance to secure the kill easily with a Bug Buzz, but it wakes up on turn 1 and kills us with a Flare Blitz. We send in Hippowdon and we're able to kill it with an Earthquake, but not before it hits us with another Flare Blitz that hits like a truck. Sawk comes out next, and we use Yawn, but not before getting hit with an Ice Punch that made my heart drop. We live just barely though, and I swap into a Salazzle, eating an Ice Punch and finishing the fight off with 2 Flamethrowers. Thankfully, after a rival fight, we get healed up, and that gives me enough confidence to run right at the legendary encounter, and it's a Cresselia. When we start the fight, it gets enraged and gets an Omni boost. At this point, I'm kind of worried because I don't know how scared I should realistically be. We hit it with a Yawn and throw a Pokeball. It fails because the Pokemon is enraged, and then it falls asleep. And I assume because I don't see the enraged status, I can try again, and well, because it's still technically enraged, the Pokeball doesn't work again. After a little back and forth and being too scared to knock it out, we get it low enough to almost lose its enraged status, at which point it starts healing itself. I put it to sleep and use 2 crunches to get it low enough so it's no longer enraged and it's catchable. We catch it without losing any Pokemon, and overall I'm feeling good as I approach this next gym. We use the gym trainer to get our whole team to level cap and then use our 1 free heal from the gym nurse. We make an adjustment or 2 and head into the fight, and we even pay to see which type they are. Using that, we see that they're an ice trainer, so we lead with our Salazzle and nearly one-shot Beartic, but in return Beartic kills us with an Earthquake. We then pivot in Hippowdon and overwrite the snow, and then we bring in Cresselia to take the hit. Beartic goes down to the sand, and Bryson sends in his Weavile, which at this point we have to swap in Obstagoon to take the beat up. Obstagoon eats it for breakfast, and Weavile misses his triple axle, meaning we get to kill it with Cross Drop. He sends in a Frostlass, and we knock it out with 2 Night Slashes. Ice Cube comes out and uses a Belly Drum, as we use Obstagoon to break its face with a headbutt before going down. Out of fear of risking Cresselia, we send in our Zweilous, which goes down before even getting a single hit off. We bring out Cresselia, and we're able to finish it off with a Psychic before he brings in Sandslash. And knowing that he's slower than me, I go for a Moonlight. I use this time to keep healing and setting up double teams, and after we feel comfy, I just hit it with a few Psychics to whittle it down for the win. We may have beat the 5th gym, but at what cost? We only have 2 Pokemon left, and at this point, I need to be a little more positive, so I decide to give them nicknames. We start with Hippowdon, and this thing was essentially our starter. It was the first thing we caught, and the thing that's carried us through half the fights of this run. We name her Moto Mama after Moto, but because it's female, we go with Mama. And we named Cresselia Uravity after the character from My Hero. Looking at the paths, I know I have to make a smart decision, so instead of going down the path that has not 1, but 2 routes of encounters and a battle prep station, I decided to go to the mysterious sign. It was definitely dumb because I didn't know what it was, but it was new and I wanted to see it. There I got to learn about the next gym's ace and the lead Pokemon for the small price of $6,500. I got the info that it was a normal gym that leads with Cinccino and the strongest Pokemon was Tauros. With my newfound info, I left and made my way to the dark deal in front of me. While there, I chose the ability to have my Pokemon with high friendship, such as my good friend Moto Mama, have increased crit rate. However, it wouldn't be a dark deal without something bad as well. And now, we aren't able to catch a Pokemon if the species is in the party. Honestly, not that bad of a punishment. We go into the battle prep station to grab our friend's Rocky helmets because it's the only item I think would be good for the team at this moment, and then we go to the gym. Use the trainers to get to level cap, and then we set up our team for what might just be the last time. As we walk down the runway with Uravity in front, I felt a little bit of anxiety, and it didn't get better as I stepped on stage with Lenora. But I know a whole third of her team already, and I'm prepared. She sends in Shinshino, and I send in Uravity. I start setting up double teams as they start using Tidy Up. For those who don't know, that's basically normal type Dragon Dance as far as I'm concerned for this fight. We both get to +4 in our respective stats, and I go for Psychic as it goes for a knockoff. Unlucky for us, even after all of our double teams, it hits its knockoff. However, we live on 2 health, just enough to keep our heart beating, and our Psychic does over half, meaning one more Psychic and her first Mon is dead. Somehow, through all the odds, Shinshino hits another knockoff, killing Cresselia, and we send in Moto Mama, which died to a triple axle. And just like that, all that effort was for nothing. Did I just waste my time to not be the best? We end up back in our original spawn, but at that moment, I realized something. Everything we did made us better. We used all of our experience and things we got from our adventure, as well as quests, to improve our base, making it so we can start with TMs and items and even other starter options. And what do you think happened next? That's right, we set back out. Hey guys, I just wanted to pop in here at the end and quickly say that I actually am a little upset I could not get a win for the end of the video. I really wanted to get a win at the end there, but if you guys would be interested, I'd be down to keep playing the game and documenting my playthroughs of it, and eventually upload a video of getting a win, and after that maybe branch onto some stuff like possible challenge runs like bug only and stuff like that, or maybe even trying out the doubles mode. I think either of those could be really fun. With that being said, I just want to quickly also say, if you did enjoy, please hit me with a like, and also subscribe if you want to see future videos. I know everyone says that, but being a small creator, literally less than 1,000 subs, I think at the time of recording this I'm at 161 subs. Simple things like a like and sub can really make a huge difference for the channel and me as a person. So thank you guys again. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.